Hi everyone, this is Julie from Totally Holistic Health and welcome to this lovely friendly group, Totally Holistic Yoga. What I'm hoping to do in the next few weeks, obviously, or next few months, is basically cultivate more of a community spirit in terms of developing a community within the people that come to my classes that can come and join in this group. But also people who are basically wanting to build a little bit more knowledge about yoga, a little bit more looking behind the asana work, because obviously the actual asana work that we tend to do in most classes is just a fraction of actually what yoga is actually about. So really what my intention was with this group was to really expand and explore a little bit more fully sort of the underlying sort of the yogic sutras, the philosophical or the philosophy books that we tend to cover in yoga. So it's just really to give you a little bit more of an insight about what actually goes on and why yoga can bring, it's more of a lifestyle thing rather than actually just that yoga practice that you do. And some people do yoga because they, obviously the practice is really important to them. However, the more you sort of research into it, the more you sort of really sort of understand the sort of like the philosophy and the thoughts that go on behind it. And a lot of people tend to find that, they veer more towards sort of looking and sort of living more of that yogic lifestyle because of that. So there are sort of various guidelines. There's something, it's called the yamas and niyamas, and basically they're different guidelines on how to live a more yogic life. So I'm going to cover those first of all, just do one little bit at a time. Now the first one, or the main one, is called Ahimsa, and that tends to translate into do no harm. So in terms of on the mat, it's really sort of being very nurturing, looking after yourself. If you're going to do a yoga practice, when you're practicing Ahimsa, it would be more of a gentle, more grounded type of practice. And I'm going to do a little practice for you afterwards so that you can do a practice that's more based on Ahimsa virtues. But also in terms of living off the mat, in sort of practicing these yogic sort of values, it's obviously looking after yourself more, slowing down in your life. Try not to rush around and just is that sort of thing about nurturing yourself, looking after yourself, taking time out for yourself. But also things around you as well. If most people tend to rush from one thing to another, but sort of just handling things really gently and being more mindful of sort of things that you touch. Also like when you're washing your hands, just really take that time to put the body really carefully and more nurturing rather than just trying to get to the end of like washing hands and going on, moving on. It's also related to, when you develop those feelings of anger or resentment or jealousy or anything like that, if they feel those feelings arise, just trying to also cultivate the opposite attitudes as well. So having that awareness of those probably more negative thoughts, but also just trying to explore sort of more positive attitudes of kindness, empathy, patience, tolerance, things like that as well. So just noticing, but also noticing how you feel when you have those negative emotions as well, and just trying to sort of like, rather than beat yourself up about it, which is very non-ahimsa, very negative towards yourself. Just sort of try to counter that a little bit with those more tolerant, more be more kind, be kind to everything else as well as yourself. Using forethought as well when you're actually sort of when you're actually about to do something, really think it through. Just really be mindful of how that feels. Giving service to other people as well who that actually need it as well. So really being caring of this community. Just watching out for those people who possibly need it as well. Also practice speaking less as well, and maybe just listening more as well. A lot of people tend to talk a lot and they don't actually listen to what people are saying. So again, sometimes it's nice just to be a little bit more quiet and just listen to what people are actually saying and then responding in a kind way to that one, rather than just jumping in and sort of like cutting off as they're in the middle of conversation. So there's a few sort of little things that you can do to sort of like develop that ahimsa attitude. But obviously for the next few weeks we're going to just be covering a few more of those few more of those sort of like Yoga Sutra sort of philosophies and sort of like the guidelines in terms of living a more yogic life, and then we're going to be moving on to different things as well. But obviously I'd be interested to hear what your thoughts are, you know, how you know, whether you actually notice yourself becoming a little bit more positive, a little bit more kind, a little more gentle with yourself, but also the people around you as well. So any thoughts on what you said, what I've said today? I'd be really interested in hearing. If you would like to know a little bit more, obviously, about it, that's fine. I've actually got some really nice books as well. So what I'm going to do is maybe set up a little bit of a library as well for people who are local, if you're interested in reading a little bit more, and maybe sort of have a little bit of a lending library as well. So hopefully everything will expand a little bit. So I'm just trying to develop a little bit more ideas of what we're actually going to do in this group. But I'm hoping that we're going to do some yoga practice as well which will enable us to be a little bit more kind to ourselves as well, and just expand on those sides, that side of it as well. So hopefully this has been, I'm waffling on now, so hopefully this has been a little bit more insightful about what we're actually going to be covering in this group. But obviously any comments you've got or any ideas that you think that would be useful, you'd want to know about, obviously please feel free to ask away. And hopefully I will hear from you soon, but obviously I will see you again soon as well. Take care, till next time. Bye bye.